Now, if like many Australians, most Australians, you were hard working today, you know and I know that you've got to work until about lunchtime on Wednesday before you start making money for yourself. Instead, you are, of course, simply working for the tax man. Unless, of course, you're a billionaire and somehow you find a way to pay no tax at all. But for the rest of us, we have to pay our tax. So every now and then, I like to tell you about how they are spending your money. A little segment we like to call Other People's Money. And there was a great piece today in news.com.au that absolutely ripped and teared into the millions of dollars that is being spent by minds far greater than ours when it comes to university grants, including gender equality in jazz, socialism in Laos. Have a look at some of this stuff that has been approved by the research councils. Now, I'm sure there's all wonderful reasons for all of this, but think about this as you go off to work tomorrow to do your bit for the tax man. $355,000 of your money goes to Deakin University for food and beverage price promotions, an untapped policy target. What does that mean? Well, basically, it is to try to work out whether crap food is too cheap and whether there should be things like sugar taxes. $355,000 when, of course, we all know what will be concluded out of this, which is yes. There's $271,936 at Monash University. This is for diversifying music in Australia, gender equality in jazz and improvisation. This is serious work to be done by our university. Sure, they can't sign up to a free speech code, but there's a $271,000 grant too, among other things. And I quote here from the blurb, emerging research demonstrates that Australian jazz and improvisation cultural sector is not gender inclusive and poses career development challenges for diverse communities. It keeps going. What about $922,000 for cultural values, birth and parenting and reproductive health, as well as Laotian socialism? That's at the University of Sydney. $1 million at the University of New South Wales for a sonic approach to anti-colonialism in interwar India. $1 million is being spent on this garbage. And then there's the stuff that has nothing to do with our university sector, but instead the health bureaucracy that has told us when to dance, how to mourn the people that we love, and to, of course, keep the borders locked at all times. It, of course, also helps the governments that have been able to win successive elections off this sort of rubbish. And we learned today that the best part of $8,000 was spent by a health bureaucrat in Brisbane to knock down walls in their office because they couldn't hear themselves think. Also, the Queensland Department of Health also spent, how's this year, $765,514 on new televisions. New televisions, upgraded televisions and hooking them on the wall. $765,000 for televisions, while, of course, the public service was told they weren't allowed to go to work to actually watch any of these televisions. And it gets sillier. In Darwin, Channel 2, which we can debate about whether it's a smart use of taxpayers' money or not, has this story today that the Northern Territory Health Department has spent $5,000 leasing a Christmas tree. I'm not joking, a Christmas tree. The department has confirmed that the decorated tree in the foyer of the newly built location in CBD of Darwin has been leased for $4,850 for 4 weeks. Now, if they went to and rented a 3-bedroom apartment in Darwin, that would cost $1,900 a month. So this is double the average cost of renting a unit in Darwin is a Christmas tree for a month. If you bought one, you could buy it online between $500 and $800, or you could buy it for even $100 at a department store. But no, because it's the government that's paying and it's you, the idiot taxpayer, who's paying $5,000 for a freaking Christmas tree. At the other end of things, there were grants of up to $150,000 in Victoria to get young people back on the land. But in a perverse example of not spending other people's money, just 8 people applied for this. Just 8 people put their hands up for this, and it was to help drought-affected farmers, where the jobless rate in these areas is more than 7.4%, and the youth unemployment rate nationally is 16.4%, but they could only get 8 people applying for the chance to go and work on the farms in Victoria. Other people's money. That's what it is for government, but of course it's your money. It's your work. It's your toil. And they piddle it up against the wall all day, every day. And to point it out, of course, means we're the ones with a problem.